Nathan, 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 NathanIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. And far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono B the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. NathanIvy.com. Mr. Ivy know the show must go on. And far as Cincinnati, man, I put on. Tunes made another flame beat for me to cook on. Raised dogs, close fists, yeah, too strong. Team NI, chop it up at the chop shop. Top notch with the king flow, the hot shot. Cop squats in, listen to the real. Jumping like hopscotch, nobody harder than no, think not. Not only citywide, but nationwide. Superlatives, keep it locked like them Haitian guys. Put the truth in the airways, we talk about it. Brand new like the templates, let's be about it. Who got the info by the AM? Jono B the rapper, got them jamming when they play him. Staying in my lane, they ain't gotta okay him. Who the host with the scoop? Yeah, they gon' say him. Ivy, so superlative like a bag of drippos. Show you where the bricks at, Cincinnati Reds at. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at. It's the 5-1-3, yeah, you know the flow. What's the word, Nate? Let them know the show. One time where my people at. Team NI where my people at.
All right. Good morning, my friends. Welcome back. Welcome back. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Great to be with you. Are you ready to talk? Let's get into it. Remember, just one small positive thought in the morning can change your whole day. Good morning to you. Welcome back. This is the last honest place in America. I'm Nathan Ivy, your host. Let's get straight into it. Now, we're getting the show a little bit started a little bit later than I anticipated. And I invited someone to come onto the show to talk to us. And this man, well, I'll let him speak for himself, actually. But I want to welcome Dunny Isaacson to the show. Hey, good morning to you, Dunny, and good morning and welcome. How are you?
Morning, Nathan. Good morning, Chapas. Good to be here.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you. Feeling good this week. Really excited, proud of the race we ran, and humbled to be the official Democratic candidate for District 24, state
Yeah,
representative.
congrats again. Congrats again. Basically a landslide, but with a really extremely low turnout. But how do you feel about how things turned out? And now you know it's you against the Republican candidate, and what should we expect moving forward?
Well, first of all, thank you to you and the rest of the Chapas and the listeners who voted, and huge thank you to a lot of my supporters, especially Mayor Aftab, the most popular man in town, who's doing a great job. Former Mayor Dwight Tillery, and a lot of other people came out to support me. And I also do want to note that I want to thank my opponent, Dale Mallory, for running a good race, and my condolences to his family for their loss this weekend. And just a lot of respect for the legacy the Mallory family has of service to the city. But like you said, now we're heading into November. We got a Republican opponent, so gonna take 1 or 2 days to catch up on a little bit of sleep, and then right back to it. And I think you mentioned low turnout. I think it wasn't as low as people thought it was going to be. We saw in the May primary 5,300 people in the district voted, and that was a primary for governor. It was a primary with a lot of other things on the ballot that they spent tens and tens of millions of dollars on. And we saw just a tiny drop. I think it was around 4,600 people voted in this district in this election, where there was only one competitive elected office on the ballot. So I'm really proud of the way that we organized as hard as we could. We went to every neighborhood. We knocked on doors in every community. We called voters. We texted them. We wrote them letters, and eventually they responded and actually showed up in a while still a low turnout, a higher turnout than people thought it was going to be.
What do you attribute the victory to? I mean, obviously the hard work of yourself and your team, but Dale Mallory, he's got that Mallory name, well established. You're a newcomer, never held elective office before. What do you attribute the victory to, other than the hard work you put into?
The hard work is a hard one to discount, but I also think I've spent the last 6 years starting and running my community engagement business, Cohere, and the work we do, as you know well, is based on the idea that the people who live the issues every day in communities are experts on those issues, whether they ride the bus, whether they've been victims of gun violence, whether they're struggling to pay for childcare or housing. And we elevate those voices and empower them to participate in the system. And so that work has allowed me to organize and build relationships and trust and make real progress on issues in almost every community in the district. And so I think a lot of that came through in this election. And in particular, just a sense that we need to be doing things differently if we want different results. And I think voters came out and really expressed that strongly.
What's harder, in your opinion, starting Cohere or running for office for the first time?
They're both different and similar. Running for office is definitely putting yourself out there in a bigger way. That your name is on the sign, your name is on the T-shirt, in a way that I think for any first-time candidate can be a little jarring, and then there's a lot of expectations. But at Cohere we've got 11 people on the team now in 2 different cities, and so got to worry about making sure we can meet our budget and make sure that people and their families have what they need. So it's just different stresses, but it's all good work. And I'm excited to stay involved in Cohere, probably in a different capacity over time, and get to work on this new challenge.
Interesting. What does that feel like, Dunny? I mean, like you said, it's you. You're out there. Your name is on the line. Your ideas, your face. What's that like election night? Like, what's that feel like to be a candidate for elective office? You put all this work into it, and now it's election night and you're waiting for the results to come in.
It is definitely a singular experience, but you don't do any of this stuff alone, right? I had an awesome team who have been with me the whole time, a lot of great supporters. And so they were all there. My family was there. My siblings flew in, took time off their jobs to knock doors for it seemed like 96 hours straight. So, you're not by yourself, but it's a mixture of nerves and excitement and honestly a feeling of like, okay, you've done everything you can, put it all on the field. Let's see how people respond. And then now it's a sense of you got one more hurdle to get through in November, and we got to get to work on the issues that we've spent the last almost year talking about with voters, which is what are we going to do about addressing gun violence in a meaningful way? How are we going to bring down costs of the things that are really affecting people's day-to-day lives and childcare, health, access to basic medicines, housing? What are we going to do to try and fight back and protect access to healthcare for women and reproductive healthcare? So I think, it's a kind of, for me, and this is a personality thing, you're nervous, you're excited, and you're just kind of like, all right, let's go. Like, what's next?
Right. I can admit. So do you take some time off? Do you take a week off just to get your head straight and then start zeroing in on your challenger? What's your plan?
Yeah, I'm going to take a few days to kind of rest, hopefully recharge a little bit, and then, yep, back to it. I also got a lot of thank yous to make, notes to write, calls to make, because it really has been a huge collective effort, and I'm very grateful for all of that support. So I want to make sure that people know and sense that gratitude.
So your situation is a little bit different, Dunny, because you worked in politics, you've worked in campaigns, you've worked on other elected officials, so you had that knowledge and that experience. But what advice would you give to someone who's never run for office before, and in terms of how do you get started with a campaign?
I think my biggest piece of advice, whether or not you want to run for office, but certainly if it's in your mind, is do the work in the communities you're thinking about running in for a long time before you run, and get to know the people and the issues before you take that step, not during the campaign, because during the campaign, it's almost too late to start to build those relationships and try to build that trust and that knowledge of the people you're running to represent. And then I think, spend time working on the issues that you care about in a different capacity before running for office. Those are probably my two non-political pieces of advice. On the political side, I think, if anyone is thinking of running, and God, we need more good people to run. So I hope a lot of people are considering running for office. Get involved now in a campaign, volunteer, knock doors, make phone calls, help put up yard signs, whatever it is. The more you're involved early on, the more people will start to see your face, get to know you, both in the party and around the party. That's sort of, I think, one of the biggest pieces of things that was helpful to me, and I think has been helpful to a lot of others.
Well, again, Dunny, congratulations. Wish you the best. And then we talked about this the day of the election. I mean, the 24th district is heavily Democrat, right? So, the odds are in your favor, although nothing is a slam dunk. But the odds are in your favor if you look at the numbers of the demographics. You still got to put the work into it. But again, I don't want to jinx anything, but let's just say the odds are in your favor. Does that change the way you approach it? Or are you like 100%, 100 miles an hour, no matter what the demographics might be?
For better or for worse, I basically only have one speed. And so it doesn't change my approach. We will be going all in on this race. Like you said, can take nothing for granted, but also that's what, I want to do this because in part because we need to change the trajectory for Democrats in the state if we want to get big things done on the issues we care about. And if we're going to do that, it's in districts like this one and in races like mine where we need people to run hard, to engage voters who are not normally talked to go to, neighborhoods like Lower Price Hill where turnout can be as low as 1 or 2%. But where there's a ton of great things happening, where there's a really strong community in many ways, but it's just not plugged in or engaged politically. And that's on, I think, candidates and on elected officials, because I really do believe that when you show up for voters, they will show up for you. I think we showed that in this primary with over 82% of the vote. And so I think we're going to bring that same dedication, same energy, same organizing at the community level to the race going into November. And I really think we're going to keep doing it, or I plan on keep doing it after November.
Mm-hmm. Sounds good. One last question, I think. You are the exact person to talk to about this. And correct me if I'm wrong, but as I understand your background, is that you did some work down in Texas trying to, um, transform Texas to blue. Is that correct?
That is correct. I helped start an organization back in 2013 after coming off the Obama campaign down in Texas called Battleground Texas.
Right.
And the basic idea was how do we register and turn out a new generation of voters there to exactly make the state more politically competitive.
So my question is something like that in the works in Ohio? Because Ohio is clearly a red state. We're not purple. We're definitely not blue. We're clearly red. What would it take for Democrats to have more of a foothold in the state of Ohio in terms of the work and also the time frame? Are we talking about a 5-year time frame? If the work and the infrastructure is put in place, are we talking about a 10-year time frame, 20 years? I mean, since you worked in Texas, I think you got a unique perspective on that.
This is the question. What do we do to turn things around for Democrats in Ohio, and what's the trajectory and timeline? I'm glad you asked. And I think Texas is a good example. I think Georgia is another one to look at. Ohio today in 2022, like you mentioned, is not the Ohio that I worked on the campaign in 2012, where we won the state and won the election for the president. It's very different. And the work is going to be over multiple cycles, like it has been in Texas, like it has been in Georgia, to go into communities, to go into apartment buildings, to go into neighborhoods that are often overlooked or not engaged, and slowly over time build relationships and trust with people to make them feel like it's worth it to engage. I mean, I started the work here with Cohere in part because of the work I had done in Texas, where I kept hearing from people, what's the point of registering to vote? It doesn't matter who wins, we're getting screwed no matter what. Well, our job as Democrats, as candidates, as elected officials, is to prove to people that it does and will matter who wins to their lives. And if they don't feel that way, it's not on them, it's on us. And so it's not going to happen, to your point. Look, I hope Tim Ryan and Nan Whaley win. I will do everything I can to help them win in November statewide. But I think we've got a long way to go in Ohio to make it where Democrats are always competitive at the statewide level. And it's going to be going into communities and making new people feel like it's worth it to engage, like something is going to matter in their day-to-day lives. Look, and I'll close, it's not with Texas actually, but with Georgia. Stacey Abrams got into the state house, I think in 2008, and Georgia Democrats, super minority, like we are in Ohio, and just started doing the work of going into these neighborhoods and places where politics hadn't engaged. And it wasn't until she left the state house as House Minority Leader in 2015 or 16. It wasn't until 2020, with a special election, that Georgia sent us our 49th and 50th Democratic senators, a young Jewish guy and a Black pastor, to the Senate, which allowed us to have the first Black woman Supreme Court justice, the largest infrastructure bill in history, maybe the largest climate bill in history if we can close it out over the next couple of weeks. So that's the work we have to do in Ohio.
Well, again, Dunny, thank you for your time this morning, and I wish you the best.
Thank you, Nathan, and thank you again to all of the voters in District 24. Excited for November and really appreciate all the support.
Yeah, take it easy. That's Dunny Isaacson, everybody. And again, the way that district is drawn, it favors the Democrat. You still got to put the work in. I wouldn't look at anything like a slam dunk. But a few things I'll say about Dunny is I think he's very sharp. And I think that, the way he answered that question about doing the work before you run is exactly what we say when somebody runs and we don't know who they are. We're like, well, what has this person done? That's the first question that comes up. One of the first questions that comes up, like, what have you been doing, right? Moderating and then doing the virtual producing for the NAACP forums, which I'll be a part of again coming up here as we get close to November. I've got a chance to sit back and really listen to candidates, but more importantly, to listen to voters. And it comes up every single time. So I think he's definitely spot on with that. And as I said, I mean, what I know about his background in Texas, I definitely want to get that question about what we need to do to be competitive in Ohio. That's a perfect way of putting it, competitive, right? And the Democrats just aren't competitive on the state level. And I think it's to the detriment of the entire population of Ohio. We need more competitive races, right? I want to see competing ideas to figure out what's best for us. So I wish them the best. But good morning to you. If you want to share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. If you want to share your thoughts this morning, I am here to receive it. There's a lot of stuff to talk about because I wasn't with you yesterday. I was not with you yesterday. I did not stream live yesterday. But let me give you a heads up about what you can expect from the Nathan Ivey Show. I'll be honest with you. The Nathan Ivey Show is coming to an end. I'll say it again. The Nathan Ivey Show is coming to an end. I don't have a date in mind because I've got a few responsibilities that I need to get past before I do anything, that's too drastic. But the Nathan Ivey Show is coming to an end. And I want to thank all of the choppers and all the people that supported the show over the years. I really appreciate you. I want you to continue to support the show. And when I say end, I mean end in terms of the way we're doing things right now. It's coming to an end. It's very, very clear to me that it's time for a pivot. It's time for something new. And, if you know anything about me, I'm not the kind of person to hang on to relationships that don't benefit me. And I'm not the kind of person to hang on too long. I'm just not that guy. I've never been that guy. I chase butterflies, you know what I'm saying? Those feelings I chase. I want to be where I'm needed, and I want to be on the cutting edge all the time. So I got a few ideas in mind, and I don't know what that means exactly. I haven't figured it out. So what my plan is that I'm going to step away for at least a week. It might be longer than that, and then really take some time to really think about it. Because the way I do what I do is it takes a tremendous amount of time and a tremendous amount of energy. So I don't just get up and look at the headlines and then start talking. It takes a tremendous amount of time. And I've been going hard for a long time. So I think stepping away for a little bit is definitely what's needed. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to really think about what my next steps are. My head is really into something new. So I don't know if that means that the time frame is going to change. I don't know if that means that the frequency of the show is going to change. I'm not sure, but just expect some changes from the show. I'm telling you first, and I'll be putting a message with my patrons as well. Many of my patrons are here as well. I appreciate you. I love every last one of you. I appreciate all of your support. And what I will say is that the Nathan Ivey Show, no matter what people think and say, other than just having a lot of fun and being entertaining and all that kind of stuff, is that we have had an impact. We have had an impact. We have set the example, no doubt about it. But it doesn't mean we have to continue doing it the same way we have. Now, let me say what it doesn't mean. What I'm not saying is I'm going to stop virtually producing other shows. I mean, that's really been an unexpected joy for me. I really get a joy out of amplifying the voices of other creatives and other folks and organizations. I'm not going to stop doing that. That's just a lot of fun for me. I get a lot of joy out of it. There's just so many great voices out there that need to be amplified. So to be a part of that on any level, I take it as a real privilege. I'm talking about the Nathan Ivey Show, the morning show as we've been doing it right now. That is most certainly 100% coming to an end very, very soon. And it's like everything else. I mean, you have to appreciate things while it's there, because what I've learned is that this world changes just like that. And, my world is no different. So I don't know what that means exactly. And I kind of like not knowing what that means. I don't know what exactly that means. I don't know if that means I'll change the time frame of the show in which we go live. For folks who don't know, we have a Facebook group called The Friends Who Like the Nathan Ivey Show. It's a closed Facebook group because it ain't for everybody. And I put a poll out just kind of gauging some people's responses. I'm not sure if that means the time frame. I mean, because I've done it all. I mean, I've done 3 hours a day, 4 hours a day. I've done it all. I've done it all in the time that we've been on the more digital side of things, and had a good time enjoying it, enjoyed every bit of it. But it's time. It is time, my friends, for something new. So I'm giving you a heads up. You know me. I'm a straight shooter with you. I keep it 100 with you, even when it doesn't make me look good. And I'm telling you what's happening, so you can do whatever you got to do. There's plenty of shows out here and stuff in the morning. I mean, you folks be great. But I see some other things that have caught my attention, and are exciting me, are interesting to me that I want to explore. And like I said, I don't know how anybody else does what they do, but it takes a tremendous amount of time and energy to do a daily show if you want to do it the way I like to do it. And that's time I could be doing something else, quite frankly. I mean, to be straight up with you. And we've had a great run. So the Nathan Ivey Show is 100% coming to an end. I'm giving you a heads up about it so that you know. Um, and I'm not sure what that looks like next. I mean, I'll be honest with you, it's a big question mark. And I kind of like that. I kind of like the uncertainty of it, but I'm giving you a heads up so that you know. So there it is. Again, if you want to share my thoughts or share your thoughts, 513-873-7134. I mean, you got to understand, I've got children. And, when I take a day off, I get a chance to take my kids to school. And I like that shit. I like it a whole lot. I don't really get a chance I give up that to do that show in the morning. And I miss a lot, quite honestly. And, for people with kids, you might think that's something that's mundane. Like, I got to drop these little folks off. But when you don't get a chance to do it and you see your kids growing up and next thing you know, they're in high school, it's like you value that. So I value typically when I'm not doing the show, I love to take my kids and just drop them off. I get to see them get out the car. I get to hug them and kiss them. I mean, that shit's way more valuable to me than almost anything else, as I'm sure you feel the same way. But it's worth it to me because I always believe in what I'm doing 100%. And whatever we do next or whatever I do next, I'm going to believe that as well. Now, I will say this. We got I have a few shows that have yet to be released that I'm working on right now. I'm going to continue to do that because, like I said, I love working with creatives. I love amplifying other people's voices. I love that shit. I didn't even expect that, but damn, I really love it. And for folks who might feel some kind of way with it, you got to understand, I've been doing this for 20 plus years. You know what I'm saying? I started in public radio and was getting up early. I've been giving up my mornings for 20 years. And I think I want to reclaim some of that time. I think, again, I'm not 100% solid. If I was, I would tell you. But I am solid in the sense that something got to change. And I'm just not the kind of person to stick around in relationships or doing something that, that I want to change. Some people have an issue with that. I don't really have an issue with it. I don't mind change. I crave it, actually. I don't mind. In fact, I crave being outside my comfort zone. So I'm looking for those kind of opportunities. So just wish your boy well in whatever happens next. I'm not sure what that is. I can't tell you yet. I haven't figured it all the way out. I have figured out enough to tell you this. All right. So it is what it is. Let me see. Keisha writes, oh yeah, before we get started with the choppers this morning.
Get to the chopper!
Thanks for Dunny Isaacson for coming on the show. And what I liked about Dunny is he's just a fresh face. We need more fresh faces in politics. We need people who have never been in politics before, or maybe you feel like you can't help. Maybe I might think about that. I don't know. I've got a name locally. I know a few people. Maybe that'll be the way to go. I don't know. But whatever it is that I do, I want to have an impact on the community, on the people, in a positive way, in a very positive way, which is, I think, the Nathan Ivey Show has been for a lot of folks over the last, 5 years, maybe even 6 years. And, on every levels, I've seen success. Public radio, I saw success. Commercial radio, I saw success. Digital radio, I've seen success. I've gotten the recognition from my peers, other people in the industry that I didn't even really know. I mean, hell, just 3 weeks ago, I got an email saying that the Nathan Ivey Show was ranked one of the 30 best talk shows in the country. So, that kind of recognition means a little. The biggest recognition is you get from the audience, that's who you do the show for. But I only said to say that much like I brought excellence and superlative flows to what we've been doing and what I've been doing in terms of broadcasting and radio, whatever comes next, you can expect the same sharpness. That's just me. I only know one way to do it. What did Dunny just say? I only got one speed. I only have one speed, but I want to give you a heads up on that. Keisha writes, Grand Risings, Nate and the Choppers with the Z. Good morning to you. Tanika writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. Good morning to you. Queen Maxine's is in the house. Good morning, Queen Maxine. Brian writes, good morning. Professional Reimbursement Network writes, happy Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Good to see you. She says happy Wednesday, but it's really Thursday. D Kit writes, good morning. What's going in? I've been on vacation. What I missed? Where you going, Nate? Well, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know. I have no idea. I've got a few. Let me take that back. I have a few ideas. I'm not sure what path I'm going to take. And as I said, the Nathan Ivy Show is coming to an end. I'm not going to stop virtually producing. Hell, I might do something once a week or something like that. I don't know. I'm just going to step away for a week or so. Could be longer than that. And then during that time, I'll make my decisions and I'll let you know. I'll let you know what's going on. I appreciate it, D-Kid. Absolutely. I lost a day with this election, did you? Yeah, it will do that. Yeah, an election will do that to you. Good morning to you. I see everybody's on YouTube right now. Hold on, let me see what's up with my people on the Facebook side of things. There it is. Good morning to you. Yeah, I'm not one to stay too long. You know, that's not really me. That's not really me. I'm more of a move, do it, enjoy it, move on. That kind of guy. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you see the writing on the wall, and I see the writing on the wall. So it is what it is. But again, I'm not even sure what that means exactly. I just know the change is definitely necessary and change is definitely coming. What that looks like, I don't know. I can't tell you. I don't know. And I kind of like that. I kind of like that uncertainty. But that's just me. Good morning to you. Ray writes, good morning. Sharp writes, good morning, Nate and the Choppers. No notification shaking my head. It is what it is, unfortunately. Man, De Leon, what up, man? Good to see you. New Max Radio. What's up? What is New Max Radio? Good morning. Like that. New Max Radio. Good morning, Nate. Good morning, everyone. He says, good morning to you. What's up? You know, speaking of radio, you know who I ain't seen in a minute? It's my brother down in Atlanta. Damn. I'm gonna have to reach out to the brother. I can't call his name, but he's got a network down in Atlanta. I haven't seen him in a minute. What up, Big Ant? What's up? You're right. I must say you and the Choppers will be missed. Well, I'm not saying that you won't be here in some way. It just won't look like this. It won't look like this. And Flotman writes, good morning. Daryl writes, your show just blanked out on us, did it? Really? I'm right here. What do you mean? The show just blanked out on you? I'm not sure. Yes, please. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure. Tracy is in the house. She writes hi. The Facebook live stream ended. I don't know what happened. I'm not sure. You know, Facebook has a mind of its own sometime. But let me move into some topics. There's a whole lot of heavy stuff that we can be talking about, and we might get into it. Before we get any deeper, I want to remind you that today's show is brought to you in part by our friends over at Renew Community Church. They offer a Sunday morning masterclass. It's a live stream every Sunday morning at 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can tap in on Facebook and on YouTube. If you're looking for them on YouTube, Renew Community Church live stream. And if you want to tap in on Facebook, facebook.com/CINCI Renew. All right. This Sunday's topics: 95% of stress and trauma is linked to health and relationship decline. Learn how to take back your life from stress and live again. I think everybody's got some kind of stress, especially if you got children. The wife and I were just talking the other day, like when you have kids, especially like school-age kids, every day you're terrified. Every day I send my kid to CRC, I'm terrified. My daughter goes, my son goes to CRC summer camp. My daughter works at CRC. So we're a CRC family on both ends. I'm terrified every day. We're about 2 to 3 weeks away from school. I'm terrified. I'm terrified of a couple things as we get ready to go back to public school. I'm terrified of an active shooter. Terrified. I'm terrified I'm going to get a call at my daughter's school or my son's school saying that there was an active shooter. like Sandy Hook. Speaking of Sandy Hook, has anybody been paying attention to Alex Jones? I used to really enjoy Alex Jones. I've been hip to Alex Jones since he started, way before, like when InfoWars wasn't like a big, like they wasn't getting millions of views. I was hip to InfoWars because at the very beginning, Alex Jones was deep. He was super deep into secret societies and things like that. And there was a time in my life when I was fascinated by all of that. I was fascinated by secret societies. Alex Jones was doing a whole bunch of stuff. Like he broke into, y'all may not know this, but this is some real stuff. Like secret societies are real. I spoke with a dude, man, many years ago. He's probably passed on from now. I can't recall his name actually. He was the author of several books, and he was really, really big in the world of writing about conspiracy theories and secret societies. Spoke with him like at least twice on the show. It was very interesting. He broke down the secret societies, and in particular, he talked about Bilderberg Group. You know, once a year, there's a big old thing in California where a lot of rich and powerful, primarily white men, but a lot of rich and powerful people get together and they dance around with torches at night. It's like a big ass, like 25-foot owl, which is representative of some type of demagogue or some kind of entity. And they do little chants and things and they make big deals about the world, like the masters of the universe. And Alex Jones broke in with a camera and purportedly he recorded what was going on. And it was like the first time anybody had ever did it before. It's called Bohemian Grove. Anybody hip to Bohemian Grove? Oh, you should Google it. It's a real thing. Like rich and powerful, primarily white men, former presidents, multimillionaires, members of, high up ranking officials of the United States. They all get together and it's like a weekend camp thing. And it's the craziest things. They got like these hoods on and torches. They got this big ass statue of an owl. And as I said, the owl is like some kind of deity. And he broke into it. And that's when Alex Jones first caught my attention. And I'm like, damn, what is this guy? It was the craziest shit ever. I'm like, what is this? Like that shit is real. Secret societies are real. And that's when I got hip to Alex Jones. And then at some point, it was somewhere around Trump or when Obama was in office. No, when Obama got in office, he just took a crazy turn to the right. And I guess that's what his views had always been. I just didn't know it. He just took a crazy turn to the right. And it just wasn't, I couldn't follow him. He started doing videos about how Obama was like a Manchurian president and how, he was sent by the powers that be to mollify the people, to put you to sleep so they could take over the government. Like Alex Jones started getting into that kind of stuff. And of course, I couldn't follow him. Alex Jones has been on trial for the last week and a defamation lawsuit because remember Sandy Hook, the massacre of Sandy Hook? Sandy Hook Elementary, remember that? Remember what happened in Sandy Hook Elementary? And all those children that were massacred by some psycho sicko. It happened December 14th, 2012 at Sandy Hook Elementary School in Newton, Connecticut. A white male, 20 years old, Adam Lanza, shot and killed 26 people. Apparently he has some issues. And he went to the school. His mother worked at the school. I think he killed his mother first. Then he went to the school, killed 20 kids, all the kids between the ages of 6 and 7. And then he killed 6 adult staff members. In total, he killed 26 people. This man killed 20 children. As the story goes, there were some children and some people were able to escape. You know how they were able to escape? Because after he shot so many people, he had to stop and reload. And when he stopped to reload, they ran out the building. This is a real thing, man. Like, could you imagine you get a phone call saying that your 6-year-old, your 5-year-old has been shot and killed in a mass shooting? You know, that's the worst thing in the world for a parent. Sandy Hook is real. But the day that Sandy Hook was reported, people in the media, most notably Alex Jones, start saying that it was fake. It was just actors. This is what this man is saying. I mean, he at that point, InfoWars, and I'm not even sure if InfoWars is still up anymore because I don't go to it anymore. But at some point, he tried to make it seem like it was some kind of operation that the government was involved in, right? That the government was involved in that was all made up. Here's Alex Jones right here. It was all made up in an attempt to try to sway America to get tougher with his gun laws. And people believed it. Could you imagine? You're the parent of a child that was killed at Sandy Hook. You done lost your son. You done lost your child. And then this fool is running around talking about how you just making it all up because you want to change gun laws. Alex Jones spent years and years and years telling this lie. He was also involved with the big lie about Obama. Yeah, where's his birth certificate? Obama's not really an American citizen. He was right there with Trump. I'm telling you, lies and masquerades and con games still have sway in America. You can still move mountains by lying to a lot of people. It's amazing. It really is. Like I said, all you got to do is feed into what people already think and push them in the direction that they're already leaning. It works like a charm every single time. It works like a charm every single time. And so now he's on trial for defamation, a defamation suit that was brought against him by the very same parents that he said were actors. Could you imagine you're grieving and this mofo is on his show that was he got millions of subscribers talking about how you were an actor and here you are grieving? There's a lot of folks that would have wanted to catch up with Alex Jones and put their hands on him. But instead, they decided to go the legal route. It came out within the last 24 hours that he knew he was lying. Get this, you won't believe this. So this man is in the middle of a trial, y'all. This really just happened. He's in the middle of a trial for defamation. He's on the witness stand, literally. The attorney for the Sandy Hook families hits him with a bombshell. It's like, you know what, Mr. Jones? You've been saying for a long time that you never text anything about Sandy Hook and that Sandy Hook was all a big lie, but you know better, didn't you? He's like, I meant what I said. The lawyer in court, while Alex Jones was sitting in the witness chair, says, you know what? And here's what happened. Alex Jones' lawyers mistakenly sent the last 2 to 3 years of text messages from Alex Jones' phones to who? To the lawyer for the Sandy Hook families. You talk about a Keystone Cops moment. We haven't seen that kind of incompetence since, I don't know, since the prosecutors trying to get Ray Tensing. That was a Keystone Cop moment right there. Yabba, 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 yabba. You know what I'm saying? That was a straight up Keystone Cop moment right there. They completely botched the prosecution of Ray Tensing, and that's why they couldn't get a conviction. But everybody's least favorite prosecutor in Hamilton County loves to beat his chest. He's so tough on crime. Yeah, sure it is. It's real easy to be tough on crime when it's a black dude saying F the coronavirus, but not so much when it's a white university assistant police officer that shoots an unarmed black man in the head and then lies about it. He was dragging me. Look at the video. We don't see any evidence of you being dragged, sir. He was dragging me. We haven't seen that kind of incompetence and ineptitude since everybody's least favorite Hamilton County prosecutor decided he wanted to be the lead prosecutor. Oh, thank you so much. He wanted to be the lead prosecutor in the Ray Tensing trial. Talk about a clown. Anyway, that Keystone Cop moment has now been supplanted by the lawyers for Alex Jones. He might have some kind of case or appeal or something. Could you imagine you on trial, your lawyers are fighting for you, trying to defend you, and then they mistakenly seen evidence from your phone to the opposing counsel? Go Google it, folks. I won't show the video here because of copyright, but go Google it. He was like, hamana. I mean, he's sitting in the witness stand. It was the funniest thing ever. He's sitting in the witness stand. Hamana. Yabba dabba do. You know, when you catch humans in a lie or a difficult moment, they start that yabba dabba do. Oh, I don't know, Shaggy. You know, they don't even know anything anymore. It was hilarious. It was hilarious. I said I'm not an IT. I swear to God, he said I'm not an IT person, Shaggy. He literally said that, minus the Shaggy. Minus that. He literally said that on the witness stand just yesterday. It was hilarious. So all this time, Alex Jones has been lying about Sandy Hook, and he knew it. And he knew it. Just like he knew all those years when he was lying about Obama and not knowing about his U.S. citizenship, he knew it. Just like Trump, they're all the same. But people are highly susceptible to BS these days. Highly susceptible to it. I say it every day. It don't take much, especially if somebody's got some predisposition, like they've got some really strong feelings one way or the other, even if it's some dumb ish. All you got to do is push them. That's why you got a lot of black folks that don't vote, because they're already cynical. And they're cynical because politics and politicians have not produced for them yet. So they got a right to feel like the system's not working for them, because it's not. But some of these highly intelligent people, all it takes is a little nudge, boom, and they don't vote no more. And so what happens is a self-fulfilling prophecy. They don't vote. That means their interests are not there, which means that they don't get what they want, and they're cynical, so they don't vote, which means their interest is not there. And it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy over and over again. And the powers that be sit back like, yes, it's working. It's working. Just lying to the people, and you know it. Just lying to the people and knew it the whole time and got caught. It was hilarious. I swear to God, he was like, I don't know. I'm not an IT guy. I swear that's exactly what he said. You're not an IT guy? What the hell is you being an IT guy have to do with the fact you have text messages in which you clearly, express the fact that, you already know it's some BS. Yo, this man Sandy Hook happened, in 2012? He's been lying about Sandy Hook since 2012. And yesterday he admitted on the witness stand that, in fact, that Sandy Hook actually happened. But he was forced to do it because the opposing lawyer, the lawyer representing the families of Sandy Hook, they had him red-handed. It was a moment. It was a rare Perry Mason moment. As a matter of fact, Alex Jones referenced Perry Mason. Why? Perry Mason was a television series many, many, many years ago. It was black and white. Perry Mason was a lawyer. And what was so interesting about Perry Mason is that he was such a good lawyer. And this shit never happens. It rarely happens. He was such a good lawyer that he would get somebody on the witness stand, and just the way he crafted his questions, the way he would go after them, they would end up cracking. I murdered her. Send me to jail, right? That never happens. Most people, when they do something wrong, they're going to lie for the rest of their life. You got people in jail right now talking about, I ain't do it. They know damn well they did it. But Alex Jones actually said this yesterday. This is your Perry Mason moment. Yeah, Alex, it is the Perry Mason moment, because they broke his ass down. And it was great to watch. It was great to watch. That's what you deserve, you lying ass bastard, you. No heart. Do we have no decency, no heart? You dealing about grieving parents, and you say they actors. But when you get paid doing something like that, what do? You keep doing it. Why? You got paid. You see your numbers go up. You get more supporters. People going to your merch store and all this kind of stuff. You're like, hey, this is dope. This is dope. So they keep doing it. Path of least resistance. Good morning to you. 513-873-7134. Just a few things on my mind. And I've already talked about the and these plans will be put in place within the next, I'd say, few weeks. But I've talked about some changes that are happening to the show, a disruption, if you will, to the show. And I won't go all through it. Just if you're interested, circle back and watch the beginning of the video once we end. You can watch it there. I don't want to keep saying the same shit over and over again. Good morning to you. Let's talk about this story for a second. Man paid to fly woman into town. She didn't want to give him any sex, so he kicked her out and canceled her flight back home. I don't know if this is real or not, but let's talk about it either way. I got to add this caveat because we live in a world of fakeness, and people love to try to get clicks with the whole bait and switch. They'll make up these scenarios, but people are responding to this video as it is real, as if it's real. So I'm going to take it as it's real. Must be real. Good morning to you. Must be real. So in the video that you're about to watch, it appears that you got a couple in a car and they're pulling up at the airport. It's a black female and a black male. And the black woman is like, wait a minute, you lame? Wait a minute, what? You're not gonna pay for my flight home because I wouldn't give you any? Now, this is a common thing. This happens a lot. Like, this happens in real life, not just with rappers. Like, we hear about this all the time. Like, some of these big time stars will pay women to fly into their city. They have sex. They take care of them. Maybe they pay for, everything they got going on, and they go shopping, and then they pay for their flight back home. That's a big thing. That ain't nothing new. People do that. And apparently the man in this video had that kind of relationship with this woman. And let me just give you some thoughts about this, some superlative flows on it. I know the story's been out there a few days, but it's the first time I'm getting to it, so bear with me. You might already have an opinion. Feel free to drop it in the chat. Man paid to fly a woman into town. She didn't want to give him any sex, so he kicked her out and canceled her flight home. Like, chivalry ain't a thing no more. That shit is dead. It is very, 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 very rare. It's a very rare thing by my observation. I'm not out in the dating scene, right? And I can't really speak to what other men do. All I can speak to is what I hear, what I know, and what I see. And I want to talk to you about this. So, man is trying to get with a woman. He flies her into his city with the expectation that they're going to have intercourse. They're going to have sex. She decides for whatever reason she don't want to have sex. He gets all of his feelings, sends her home, drops her off at the airport, and purportedly doesn't pay for her return flight. A couple things are wrong with that. The number one thing I would say is advice for the ladies. Like, I'm not here to tell grown folks what to do or what not to do. Do what you want to do. Have your fun. If that's what you want to do, like you meet a dude from out of town, he gonna fly you in town, y'all gonna kick it for a weekend, and then he gonna fly you back home, great. But what I will say is make sure that he pays for a return flight, not no one-way stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, ladies, fellas, you might be in a situation where a woman flies you in because she want to spend the weekend with you. I know that might seem crazy, but there's some men that got it like that. That ain't outside the realm of possibility. There's some women that's willing to do that. They got it like that. But what I would say is if I'm in a situation like this and a woman want to fly me in, she gonna have to pay for a return flight off the top, not no one-way flight, and then I'll pay for another one-way flight. Nah. I can't trust that. That's her number one mistake. You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna do something like that, get the return flight. That way you know you're getting home. Number two, from a male perspective, I can understand being disappointed because you didn't get the ill nana. I get it. Every man has felt that at some point in their life. That just comes with the territory. You don't always get what you want. But how do I feel about what I saw in this video? I'll tell you. I'll tell you where I think she went wrong. And I'm going to tell you where I think he went wrong. All right. And then we're going to talk about this story about a man getting shot and perhaps mortally wounded over cold fries at McDonald's. I know this was probably talked about within the last 48 hours. I wasn't on. I want to talk about it with you right here, right now for just a little bit. But before we go any deeper, I want to play this video for you so we all know what we're talking about. All right. I'm going to roll this. There's some extreme language. I'll give you a few seconds and maybe you can, take the babies out or turn me down if you're at work or whatever. I don't want to get nobody in trouble. All right. All right. You ready? All right. You ready? Are you ready? Okay, you're ready. Rotate.
Nigga, because you ain't getting no coochie.
Get out.
Nigga,
Get out my
whatever,
car.
whatever. Just
Get out
give
my
me,
car.
just make sure you give me my fucking confirmation number.
What?
Where-
Ain't no confirmation number.
What you mean?
Ain't no confirmation number. I cancel the flight. I cancel your flight. Buy your own ticket. You been trying to go on the cheeks? Nah.
Yeah.
Get your bag. I ain't in your bag. Here, your bag
Nigga,
right
I
there.
came here with nothing.
bag.
Are you serious?
Cool. Go. I'm dead serious. You ain't want to give me no cheeks? You got a deal.
Nigga, you're lame as
I'm
fuck.
paying for your ticket.
Because you can't get no coochie.
I'm saying you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm not paying for your ticket. I'm not paying for none of that shit.
You're lame as fuck.
Hey.
You can't get no pussy.
All right, buy your own ticket. Buy your own ticket. Buy your own ticket. You gotta buy your own ticket now.
So there it is right there. That's the video right
Like
there.
that, you feel me? I want to lock you in type shit, you feel me?
I'm sorry, but I'm married.
You married?
Yeah.
I don't know what the hell that was. That was something else. Okay, so there you just saw the video right there. What do you think? Who's right? Who's wrong? Who is right? Is who wrong? Let me tell you what his sister went wrong. She said, "I came here with nothing." Huh? So you obviously she don't know this man that well. You jumping on a whole flight and you ain't got enough money to get home? Big no-no. Big no-no. I don't care who it is. You shouldn't be traveling anywhere if you can't afford by yourself to get on a plane or get on a bus or call an Uber and get back home. Big mistake, sis. Big mistake. You putting yourself in a situation where you might have to compromise yourself. I came here with nothing. Why you come here? Big mistake. So ladies, my advice, I don't have to tell, some women this, but maybe I do. I'll say it anyway. Like, if you decide you're going to fly, and I know women, I have female friends who have done this before. They're like, yeah, I'm going here for the weekend. And they'll tell me all about it. I'm like, okay. He thought he was going to get him some. We'll talk about it in a second. So number one off the top, don't travel nowhere if you can't afford to come back home on your own. Anything can happen. You're going to leave yourself at the whim of another human being in the days and times we live in. You can't trust nobody. Just because he got your Instagram and y'all been talking back and forth and he sent you some nude pictures don't mean you can trust him. I say it again. On some levels, you can't trust nobody these days. You can't trust nobody. Big mistake, sis. Big mistake. Had she had the money to travel, I'm not sure how she got home. I love to follow the backstory and see what actually happened. But when you got the money to take care of yourself, when BS happens, then what can you do? You can pick your stuff up and leave. You ain't got to deal with it. Big mistake. I'd never do that. I would never recommend that. I mean, if you're gonna go spend a weekend with him, man, spend a weekend with him. But make sure, number one, you secure the tickets. Round trip ticket. What's my confirmation number? You should already have the confirmation number. You're not moving smart, sis. You're not moving smart. And when you don't move smart, what happens? You open yourself up for bad things to happen to you. Not smart. Not smart on no levels whatsoever. None. And then from the male standpoint, I can understand being disappointed. I can. But every woman is not a prostitute. There's some women that operate like that. Let's be real. There's some women that operate just like prostitutes. You know it and I know it. Fellas, you probably come in contact with some of these kind of women. Tell me I'm wrong. There's some women that don't care who they sleep with, anything that catch their eye or somebody catch their eye, they with the business. They want to feel it. There's some women who operate like prostitutes. Like you take care of a few bills, they'll drop it like, damn, my kids, you talking to her, my kids' bunk beds just broke. I remember this is years and years and years and years ago, man. Way before I even met the wifey. I was in college, met a woman, we on the phone, we kicking it, whatever. And she started talking about how her kids' bunk beds. How her kids need bunk beds. Yeah, my kid's bunk bed broke. I'm like, why is she telling me this? At that point, I remember not even catching it at first. I didn't even catch it. We on the phone, I'm trying to talk her into whatever, and she talking to me, and we're trying to get to know one another. And she started talking about kids' bunk beds. I'm like, kids' bunk beds? I don't bunk beds. What's she talking about? Then it dawned on me. Oh, she think I'm going, man, please. Needless to say, I ain't never paid for no damn bunk beds. Now, I'm not mad at a man who does. If that's the bargain or the relationship you in, then that's what it is. There are plenty of women out here who operate like prostitutes. If you can do something for them, they can do something for you. Tell me I'm wrong. Some of you women got friends, and you know exactly what I'm talking about. So let's not be like children now and act like this don't happen. It does. But not every woman operate like that. He treating this woman like she is straight up prostitute. And my thing is, and I say this to men all the time, there's somebody for everybody. If you're looking for that type of woman, she's out there. She's out there. There are plenty of women that if they think you somewhat attractive, you halfway decent, you good enough, they'll roll with it. They'll roll with it. And if you paying for bunk beds and stuff like that, say less. Say less. They with the business. They with the business. They all about it. But men, stop trying to force women to be something they don't want to be. I just don't understand it. Just go find you a woman that's into that. You fly her in, you drop a little something on the nightstand afterward. Everybody happy. He getting what he wants. She getting what she want. Maybe on 2 levels. She's getting the blip. Plus she getting some cash. Everybody happy. Just go find those women. Just go find a woman that's into that. And there's plenty of beautiful women, attractive women, younger, older, whatever you. Now you might have to put the work into it. But stop trying to force people to be something they don't want to be. Big mistake. Big mistake. And like I said, chivalry is dead. You can wrap that shit up. Chivalry, what's that? That is rare. That's rare. That is very, very, very rare. We live in a world where I want what I want. Hey, good morning, bro. Good to see you. How'd you sleep? Slept well? You out the door? Where the brush at, man? The brush is over there on the table in the living room. Brush some sides. It's my boy right there. But I said, we live in a world where chivalry is dead. Ladies can attest to that. Narcissism is at an all-time high. Everybody want to flex, showing off what they got or showing off what they doing or me. It's just the world we live in. I get it. Oh, you want me to brush it? No, use this one. I got you, man. Turn. Well, if you go to urban air with your CRC, then we don't have to go. The only reason where we were going to go. Okay, then. So you good. Oh, you want to go? You want to go with your sister? Okay, looking good, man. We got time for another cut. I already set the appointment. That's my boy right there. Oh my God. Yeah. So where was I saying? My son comes in. I don't even try to stop him. You want to come in, he come in. You know what I'm saying? But man paid to fly a woman into town. She didn't give him any sex, so he kissed her out and canceled her flight back home. Classless. That's not really my style. You know what I'm saying? That's not me, because I got to sleep at night. But, you know what I'm saying? Everybody different. And then there's some women that think this kind of stuff is funny. Let's talk about that as well. Ladies, I ain't going to let you off the hook with this. There are women out there that think this kind of stuff is funny. He think he going to get him some. He think he going to get him some. He ain't getting nothing. Paid for the lobsters. And I got some shopping in. They think it's funny. They go back into their friends. He a lame. I played him. Everybody trying to get over these days. I played him. Damn well I'm telling the truth. Yeah, he flew me down. I thought he was going to get some. I ain't give him nothing. They think it's funny. So who do I blame for all of this? I blame her. Didn't nobody tell her to get on a damn plane with a stranger? It's your fault. Nobody told you to get on a plane with a stranger. Nobody told you to imply any kind of like quid pro quo, like this for that. And nobody told you to travel with nothing. I ain't even got nothing, she said. Who told you to do that? Where your father at? Where your father at? Your father should have told you, daughter, don't do this. I blame her. She put her and herself in that situation. I do not blame him. Now, I think what he did was classless. People say lame. I think it's lame. But she put her in that situation. She put herself in that situation. What you expect? What you expect? But what do you think? 513-873-7134. You think he gonna treat you with respect? Why would he treat you with respect? He don't know you. You just some fun for the night or the weekend or whatever. That's it. Nothing more than that. Good morning to you. Hopefully the show came back. Nat writes, Alex Jones should rot in hell. He's a clown and a liar. Yeah, he got exposed. Alex Jones, he got straight exposed. It's one of the funniest things I've seen in a long time. Jenny writes, I used to follow Alex Jones. See, Jenny, you and I, we were like this. You know, we birds of a feather. You know, we seem to, yeah, Alex Jones was tight for a minute, especially when it came to like Bilderberg which is a secret society, all the secret societies. He was deep in that well. And then when Obama got in office, he showed his true colors. I can't roll with that. Anybody that was out here promoting the big lie about Obama, notice how the whole time Trump was in office, all he did was lie. Before he got in office, what was the big lie then? Obama's not a real American citizen. I don't understand how any black man, and again, Drop might think I'm calling him out, but I'm not. This is just me. It has nothing to do with you, bro. You don't got to call in. Don't call in. Do you? But any black man that would support a candidate that would use racism to get in office, as in you want to try to use racist tactics on Obama to make yourself look good, you could never get my consideration, ever. What kind of black man would I be if I considered a white male candidate that did that? But Trump he lied about the exonerated six. He lied about the exonerated six. Trump is a liar. Every time we talk about Trump and he makes the news is because of a lie. He lied about the exonerated six. Some people call them the Central Park Five. Even after they were exonerated, the man still has never apologized. He lied about Obama being a naturally a U.S. citizen. He lied about the size of his inauguration party. Remember that? The man has been lying, and that's all. He lied about the election. I don't understand any black person that would jive with that. Like a white person, I can understand that. But a self-loving, intelligent black person, why would I vote for something like that? Anyway, that's a sidebar. And Alex Jones was a part of that. But again, he used to be dope. He used to be interesting, not anymore. Ann writes, good morning to you, Ann. She writes, I've been following. His attorney turned over his entire cell phone data, and the judge has had it with him not following her orders and continue to perjure himself. Yeah, Alex Jones is just a liar. And he's lied so much that look what happened to him. He got straight exposed. I'm telling you, yo, go on YouTube and just Google it. I'm sorry, go on YouTube and search for it, because Google's a whole different platform. Go to YouTube and search it. It is hilarious. Hamana. I'm not an IT person, Shaggy. It is the funniest thing ever, man. And then he had to admit, yes, Sandy Hook was real. He knew Sandy Hook was real all this time. He knew it was real all this time. But it wasn't his child that got killed and massacred, so he didn't care. But there's an element in our society that he tapped into with his lies. It benefited him, so he did it. It's us against them. Crystal writes, they probably drink blood. I don't know what they're doing at Bohemian Grove, but if you're hearing that for the first time, again, I used to be so deep into this. I explored it, talked to authors and people that did this stuff because I was interested in learning more. It's a real thing. Just Google or go to Wikipedia and Google Bohemian Grove, and you'll be like, this is real? Like, secret societies are real. Terry writes, yeah, he claimed they were actors. Actors? Could you imagine the pain that you are feeling as a parent and you just lost your child? That pain. And this fool is on his show talking about how you an actor. You want to kill him. That's what you want. You want to put your hands on him. And they did, in a legal standpoint. They did. Good morning. Good morning to you. Right. Crystal writes, Crystal, I'm with you. He claimed that the whole thing was staged by people out there that want to take away guns. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. People said about Obama. Obama never even he never even offered anything or said anything about taking people's guns. That was never the issue. But when the facts don't work, what do people resort to? Lies. If the facts are inconvenient, you tell lies. It is what it is. Daryl writes, I follow Mrs. Marquez Green on Twitter. Those parents still receive hate messages and death threats. Mm-hmm. Brent writes, hey, good morning to you, Brent. Alex Jones has spent decades lying, but now that this joker is under oath, he has to tell the truth or get caught up in perjury charges. I hope he goes to jail for as long as they can put him behind bars to send a message to anybody else that might want to do this kind of disgusting stuff. Some things should not be done. You feel me on that? Some things just shouldn't be done. Ronald writes, and when you do them, you lose things or you lower yourself. He started crying like a little, yeah, he did. It was hilarious. What up, TNT? What up, Gladys? Brent writes, Alex Jones and Trump know that if they lie and are charismatic, suckers will buy their steaks and go to their fake universities and buy their useless vitamin supplements. Absolutely. You can put Dr. Oz in there too. Another liar. Dr. Oz is a snake oil salesman. And nobody calls out Oprah. Didn't Oprah bring us Dr. Oz? Yeah, I think she did. Oprah introduced Dr. Oz to the world, and now Dr. Oz is a straight up Trumpster. And nobody calls out Oprah for that. Damn you, Oprah. Marisha writes, good morning. Good to see you, Marisha. Mike Will, what up, Mike Will? He writes, I won't lie. I used to like Alex Jones. I found out he was a liar and a cheat once he came out with his product line. LOL madness. See, birds of a feather. Yeah, he was dope at first. It was very interesting content. And then Obama got in office and he went straight to the right. He's curved. You know what I'm saying? They straight curved. Good morning to you. Vernon writes, his ass was sweating, and got rich. Brent writes, Nate, what happened to the lady you were supposed to get on the show dealing with the baby daddy only bring his son McDonald's? Did I say it? She was supposed to be on the show? I don't remember that. I think we got to the bottom of the story, though. I think that's what happened, Brent, is that what we found out is that she was just doing it for TikTok. So it wasn't really true. But that story uncovered a lot about people as well. You had women like, he ain't got to bring them other babies no food. I'm like, damn, decency ain't a thing no more? So you got kids with a woman. She got 3 kids. You got 1 kid with her. You gonna bring just your kid McDonald's? Some things lower you. No respect for anybody. If I had kids with a woman and she got 2 other kids, I'm not bringing McDonald's just for my kid. I'm not doing that. It's wrong. If I don't have enough money for all the children, then what I'll do is I'll pick my kid up and then just take my kid. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes you're going to have to take all the kids. That's just it's the right and decent thing to do. It's the right and decent thing to do as a human being. And it's also the right thing to do for the relationship between the siblings. You know what I'm saying? If you dropping off goodies to just your kid, then that's going to build resentment in the hearts and minds of his brothers and sisters. That's going to be bad for your child. But again, morals ain't a thing no more. It's everybody's for themselves, every man and woman for themselves, me, I. That's just the new ethos we live in. And that's why I keep saying that we are living in the last days, my friends, living in the last days. And what's quite interesting is that it was black women like, he ain't got to bring nothing for them other kids. Huh? Yes, the hell he do. Let me see. Good morning to you. Tracy writes, get the return flight. He canceled her flight. Yeah, she did say that. She did say that. You telling me she can't get all the information up front before she get off the plane? Before you get on the plane, you can't get all the confirmation numbers and have all that kind of stuff. It's just really, really sad. And what I would say is, if I'm gonna travel out of town like that and go see a woman for the weekend, then I'm gonna make sure I got enough money so that if anything happens, it ain't no problem. You know what I'm saying? As a matter of fact, when I travel, when I go to my in-laws' house in Cleveland, I don't care where I go, I always got enough on me to leave at any moment if I need to and find my way back home, because anything can happen. Just bad business. Jesse writes, I think it's a skit. The guy is known for doing pranks. It could be. Tabitha writes, I would not go unless I have my own way home. At least have your own back. Absolutely. Timothy writes, I never can tell if it's fake or not. Right. Tanika writes, seems super fake. It could be. Never let them book your flight. Get the cash and book it yourself or get reimbursed, because if they have your confirmation number and name, they can cancel your flight. And this is why it's important to always have your own money. What's up, Tierra? Good morning to you. And what she just said. Correcto mundo. What she just said. Deshaun writes, they were both wrong. No, she was more wrong than he was. Deshaun, she was more wrong than he was. Absolutely. And nobody can deny that. And the reason why she was more wrong than he was is because it was her ass in a sling. She's a grown ass adult. You got to be more responsible for yourself than you expect somebody else to be responsible for you. Y'all ain't married. You don't know this man. Y'all just trying to hook up. He just trying to hit. So to put your livelihood, your fate in the hands of somebody else is dumb. And she probably did it because people get bored. People want to be excited. They want to have some fun. They want to travel. They want to do something different. Girl, I'm going to St. Louis. I'm not sure where they were. I'm just saying St. Louis. So I get it. You know, people get bored. They want to have some excitement. They want to do something different. You know, women want to be wined and dined and feel like they're precious. So yeah, they're both wrong on some levels, but she was more wrong because she's the one that's got to struggle to find a flight home, not him. TNT writes, he canceled it either way because he paid for it. Have money to pay your own way back. I like what Tierra said. Like, ladies, I think she's right about that. Like, if you're going to travel like that, have him cash app you the money for the tickets, and then you buy the tickets. That way, you got control of the confirmation number. You got control of the whole process. Do it that way. And if he starts doing that, hamana, yabba dabba do, you know, when you say, listen, well, cash app me the $1,400 and I'll buy the ticket. When he starts with that hamana, yabba, I don't really have a cash app. Well, get a cash app. When he starts doing that, don't go. D-Kit writes, both of them are reckless. Yes, D-Kit, but she was more reckless because she's the one doing the traveling. Regina writes, stop putting everything on social media. I feel the same way, but if they stop putting everything on social media, then we won't have so much fun talking about everything. So don't mess up the fun now. Don't mess up the fun. Don't do that. You know, we always say, stop putting stuff on social media. But if people stop putting stuff on social media, they're going to mess up the fun. I don't want that to happen. Let's be honest. I don't want to see that. Now, hold up, Regina. Now you're going too far. I mean, you know, we'll always have to talk about, but it won't be as much fun if we couldn't politic other people's business. That's all we're doing, signifying. Let's be real here. talking about other people's business and extrapolating to our own lives and our own opinions. That's all we doing at some points. Let's be real. All right, let's move on. 513-873-7134. Again, I'll say, I know people are still coming into the stream. It's time to move on to something new. The Nathan Ivey Show is changing. It's not going to be the same. It's definitely going to be changing. I've got some responsibilities that I need to get beyond. And once I do, I'm going to take a little time away and really think about what I want to do next and how I want to do it. Now, am I saying I'm never going to stream again? I'm not saying that. I don't know if it's going to be every day. I don't know if it's going to be every day in the morning. I can't tell you that. But one thing that's not going to stop is, working with the NAACP and working with, other creatives inside the city. I get a real joy out of that, much more than I ever thought I would. I really, 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 really enjoy it, actually. So that's never going to stop. Straight Talk, all the shows we're doing. I got 3 more shows we're working on right now that'll be out soon. So look for that, more podcasts. So I'm definitely going to continue doing that. But the Nathan Ivey Show, as you have seen it, is coming to an end, my friends. We've had a great run. It's been a lot of fun, but all good things come to an end. But let's talk about this McDonald's case. And while we are together here, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, a Brooklyn McDonald's worker is now clinging to life after being shot over what's being reported cold French fries. And just stop for a second. I think every last one of us, like if you're the kind of person who spent any part of your life going through McDonald's or going to fast food, you have had a disappointing experience, right? Raise your hand if you've had a disappointing experience as it relates to like fast food. I know I have. I've had different disappointing experiences at McDonald's over French fries. As a matter of fact, the last time I ever went to McDonald's, I fell out over French fries. Like, look at that image right there. That is clearly a McDonald's carton. What is that, a large fry? Like, everybody in the world knows what a large French fry looks like. There was a point in which I was backing away from fast food, but my last guilty pleasure was French fries. I ain't no different than a lot of people out there, right? Love you some golden fries. Ooh, with that ketchup, and they hot. Ooh, boy. Some good eating right there. That's some good closet eating right there. Shout out to my closet eaters. Smashing fries, right? So I had backed away from everything else in the menu, but I was still messing with the fries. And I was in a process of transition. Like, I was transitioning away to never eating fast food. I can't tell you the last time I've eaten any kind of fast food, right? It's been it's been multiple years. But the last time I ever went to McDonald's, I went to the McDonald's in Clifton on Martin Luther King. I was getting a large fry. That's the only thing I wanted was a large fry. I had a taste for some golden arches. You feel me? I had a taste for them golden arches, for the French fries. Golden deliciousness. At least that's what I was thinking at the time. And I go through the drive-thru, I order a fry. The fry comes, it's in the bag. I'm experienced when it comes to McDonald's, so I know you got to look in the bag. I look in the bag, man, they put a small fry in a large fry carton. Your boy, I didn't even move. I said, man, I'm going to hold up the whole damn line. I'm knock on the thing, she comes to it. I'm like, the fry ain't full. I show her. We go back and forth to the point where she go get the manager. The manager's a young black dude. The manager come out, he was totally disrespectful to me. The man basically told me that that's all I'm going to get. And it got to the point where I had to get on my phone. I went to McDonald's website and I said, does this look like this? Literally, you got to turn to the left. I'm like, does this look like this? He wasn't moved by that. He was like, basically, screw you. I got my money back and reported him the next day. Last time I ever been to McDonald's. I think, how many people have had those kind of incidences and experiences? Probably a lot of us. What's funny is many of us are far more forgiving with McDonald's and their bad service than we would be with your local black restaurant. You know, when it comes to like majority owned fast food, oh my God, we'll eat this shit and I'm gonna give them another try. When it comes to like Liz Rogers, when she was on the banks with Mahoganies, black folks, I can't, this is what I'm talking about. Huh? What? But I'm just making points this morning. But anyway, let me get back to the story coming out of Brooklyn. So as the story is being reported, a woman goes to the drive-thru and she orders some fries. And apparently the fries was cold. There's no way in the world that McDonald's fries could ever be cold. They should never be cold. I used to work at McDonald's. McDonald's was my first job. Man, I loved it too, man, because I used to make my own food and shit like that, man. Making like double quarter pounders with cheese and shit and mac sauce. Man, you ain't living until you eat a double quarter pounder with cheese and mac sauce. You ain't living. Especially when I was like, I don't know, 16, 17, right? I think they paid me like $3.25 an hour to work at McDonald's. And they put my black ass on a grill. I wanted to work in drive-thru. It took me like a year to work the drive-thru. I'm like, man, what kind of apartheid system is this? I'm tired of flipping burgers. I want to get to the drive-thru because the drive-thru is where the fun is. You get to see the people and you're dealing with the money. And when I finally got there, it was everything I wanted, man. I had so much fun, especially at night. And people are coming through. Maybe your friends are coming through. It was cool. Girls are coming through. You hollering at the ladies. You got your little McDonald's visor on and shit. You couldn't tell me nothing. And I'm getting paid. And I'm getting some free food. Man. The best food that McDonald's produces is the food that the workers make for themselves after hours. That's the best food at McDonald's. Man, we be in there like Chef Gordon Ramsay with it, man. Loving it. So let me get back to the story, though. Let me get back to this story. So, female customer gets into it with an employee over her fries. At the same time, she's FaceTiming her son. She's FaceTiming her son, who's 20 years old, who happens to be in the neighborhood. Eventually, her son shows up at McDonald's and gets into a back and forth, a war of words with the employee. At some point, the son and the McDonald's employee walk outside. Once they walk outside, as reports go, to this point, 2 people have been arrested in conjunction with this. A 20-year-old man is in custody and his girlfriend is in custody. Apparently, the girlfriend gave him the gun that he used to shoot the McDonald's worker. Now they both locked up. Now what in the hell? Both locked up. It gets even deeper than that, yo. Now what's come out, and this came out last night, is that this brother has been charged in conjunction with a shooting that happened back in like 2020, happened 2 years ago or 4 years ago. It happened 2 years ago, back in 2020. So he got arrested in conjunction with that. Apparently he a thug for life. He been shooting people. He shot some dude allegedly a couple blocks away from the McDonald's 2 years ago. So they picked him up on that and these new charges. Now, I would ask you who is wrong, but we already know who is wrong. The man who pulled the trigger is wrong. What the hell is wrong with you, man? But there's a lot of blame to go around here. Number one, if you work at McDonald's or fast food and a customer comes in and says, my food is cold, they may have an attitude. They may be like, damn, I got to get out the car. My hair ain't even right. I ain't dressed for this. This is why I went to the damn drive-thru. Now I got to go in here, right? I can understand that. Sometimes people go through drive-thrus because they don't feel like getting out the car. They're not dressed right. They got on slippers or whatever. They ain't dressed right for public consumption. So they pissed off, they ticked off when they got to get out the car to go deal with some cold fries. And why in the hell are the fries cold anyway? This is McDonald's. This is what you're supposed to do best. Ridiculous. But some of these workers at fast food, they catch an attitude. and they catch an attitude because people approach them with an attitude. I get it. But when you're on a job, you have a higher authority that you need to uh, be responsible for, and that is the business that you represent. So if somebody come in, they irate, hey, simmer down now, do what you got to do to de-escalate the situation and give them some hot fries. Easy peasy. Who knows what that interaction was like? It could have been that the mother is upset about her cold fries and she goes in there on some straight disrespectful stuff. So now to the people behind the counter, it's not even about the fries. You've now disrespected me. Or it could be that she went in there on some, irritated, but she ain't disrespectful. And then she's met with disrespect. Like, you trying to run a scam on some fries? Just give me some damn fries. That's it. My other question is, you're the McDonald's worker. Why are you going outside to get into an argument with a customer? You're at work. I'm a man. Many men in this audience. Come on, man. As a man, you get into it with a back and forth with another man. He say, come outside. What does that mean? That means y'all about to go heads up. That means violence, right? I wasn't there, but I've been around long enough to know that what could have happened is that people were being disrespectful. The son shows up. He wild and reckless because he don't give a F, right? You ever met people like that? I don't care about nothing, right? He dangerous. He don't give a damn. He walk in there with an attitude, and now it's not even about the fries. Now it's about the fact you disrespected me or challenged me as a man. So now my ego is involved. When I saw in the news reports that the man was shot outside and that he walked outside to confront this guy, I'm thinking, you're at work. Even if it's break time, you gonna go outside to argue with somebody? But I know how men act. I've seen it many times before. Somebody threatens somebody else, and now it's not even about the original thing. Now is you disrespected me as a man. You challenged me as a man, right? And now somebody got shot in the neck. So ultimately, I blame the individual who pulled the trigger. But if you at the job, why are you going outside to confront somebody over French fries or some kind of minor dispute? He was wrong to do that. All you doing is escalating. A mofo say come outside in 2022, you should expect that they have a weapon. If I get into it with another man, this man say step outside, I'm assuming he got a weapon. I'm going to make that assumption. You must have a weapon. So you're going to lure me outside so then you could tell the police that I was coming after you in his self-defense. That's what I'm going to assume. But that's how I am, though. These days, I assume everybody had a weapon. I assume everybody got a weapon. Anthony writes, man letting their pride and manhood rule their emotions and actions. Absolutely. Kevin Hart just talked about that. Kevin Hart was on a podcast recently in which he talked about, and I don't really like the way he did this. He was like, he kept saying our community as in black people. He was talking about how black people, black men in particular, let their egos get in the way. And what I'm here to tell you is, he's absolutely right about that. 100%. Absolutely. Absolutely. I got an ego too. Every man has an ego. You know what I'm saying? My ego informs me in a lot of ways. On some ways, it makes me who I am. But as a Virgo, I kind of check myself sometimes. That's where the wifey comes in. That's why I say, man, the power of a woman who you empower her to keep it real with you. And then when she says something to you, you actually put it in place. Is a very powerful thing for men, especially men filled with testosterone and ego or whatever. You think who the F you are and all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. So in this McDonald's case, there's enough blame to go around. Ultimately, the man who pulled the trigger was dead wrong. But the McDonald's worker, you go outside to confront somebody? What? He was wrong. He was wrong for that. Nat writes, ego is a human thing, not just men. I've seen it, LOL. Oh, absolutely. But with men, it's on another level, though. It's on another level. And every man has stories about ego. Like I used to play at the Friars Club, man. I loved it. I miss it. I miss competing physically, elbows, pushing, all that kind of stuff with other men. I miss that. I miss that in my life. But I seen dudes get slammed on their head over basketball games, arguing over fouls. I've seen black men fight each other over somebody called a foul. I seen a black man pick another black man up, dump it on his head, and punch him in his face because he was getting D'd up. And all the brothers was like, "Oh, okay, get it. Oh, okay." But that's just competition. That's just a 300 type shit. But that's what happens when you're around men. I miss that. I crave that. I don't have that in my life right now. I love to get back into that, but physically, I'm just not there to play like I used to. Maybe once a week. Maybe. Got to be real with myself. Miss that. But that's what happens. I've seen dudes, get to fighting over, hard fouls. And it's not even about the game. It's about you disrespecting me. That's just men. Timothy writes, we allow what other people think affect us too much. Everybody cares about what people think. You know what I'm saying? On some levels, because we're just socialized that way. And it don't matter whether you got money or you don't have money or you've had accomplishments or you don't have accomplishments. Everybody cares about what people think on some level. Now, who those people are might be different. You know what I'm saying? I think the older you get, the more that armor you put up, the more you do things and accomplish things, the more armor you put up, and you realize, oh, this person just on some dumb ish. But you show me somebody to say, I don't care what somebody think, and they're lying. They're lying about that. They're absolutely lying about that. What up, Luddy? Luddy writes, black men are sick in the head toward each other. Black men are sick in the head. I don't know how. I mean, yes, some are. Obviously, some are, some not. I want to see people do well. So you say sick in the head. It depends. I really can't speak about other men and how other men think or whatever. As a man, I can speak in general from a man's perspective. But everybody has different motivation. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got different motivation. It's all different. So Crystal writes, wrestle with wifey. It's over for the street fights. Sister Iris in the house, good morning to you. Charles writes, 2 coaches at the Junior Olympics incited a riot with their fight the other day. Of course, children were trampled. Is that right? Luddy writes, you just gave one example of it. Right. Yeah, you're right. I did, Luddy. You're right about that. Absolutely. It's just sad, man. I'm not going to shoot no man unless I got to shoot a man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can have a pistol on me and get into it with you, but that don't mean you deserve a pistol. You don't deserve that unless you deserve that. You know what I'm saying? But I came from a different era. The male role models that I saw might have been different. You know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of people I grew up around. I keep saying it again, my people carried weapons. My grandmother carried a weapon. My grandfather carried a weapon. My uncle carried a weapon. Everybody knew. The whole neighborhood knew it. But it was the salt of the earth people. Never seen them bother anybody. Never seen them mess with anybody. They just wasn't taking it. And so I grew up the same way. That's what the ethos. I carry a weapon. You know what I'm saying? You see me out here in these streets, and after what just happened, all the time, everywhere I go. But like I told you, I'm super scary. Last thing I want to do. Some people live in that world of I wish a Negro would, but I'm the opposite. I hope he don't. I don't want to have to do that to you. You know what I'm saying? You don't really deserve that. People don't really deserve that unless they really deserve that. And that means you get in the way of me and my family. I'm out with the family on some dumb ish, or I'm trying to get away from you. You won't let me get away. I got to go through you. You know what I'm saying? But everybody's different. Some of these people, man, they get a weapon in their hand. Now they all big and matty about it. I'm not like that. In fact, I'm the exact opposite. I'm not with it. I don't want to be around it because I don't want to have to send you to your maker. I don't want to have to do that. You know what I'm saying? But and thank God I haven't had to. But I will, and I won't hesitate because I'm going home. Got a little boy that you see from time to time, got a wife, got a daughter. They need me. And anybody getting away with that, sorry for you. But some people, they get a weapon in their hands or in their pocket or whatever, and now they want to challenge stuff. And I'm not insecure like that. You know what I'm saying? I don't feel small. You know, I'm not looking to make myself feel like a man. I'm just a man already. It just is what it is. But everybody's different. Everybody's different. Dale Rice, does McDonald's use beef or soybean patties? Big Mac is terrible now. I don't know. I don't know what's in those patties. I have no idea. Like I said, unless I'm in like a catastrophic situation, you know, like the end of the world type shit, I'll probably never eat McDonald's again. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm just, you know, something happens and that's all I can afford to eat, then I'll do what I got to do. I hope that don't happen. So I don't know. I do know it's not the same as it was, say, back in the 70s or 80s. It ain't the same. It ain't the same. But it is what it is. People like it. Do your thing. TNT writes, I'm like that too. I wish they don't, but I will. I ain't no killer, but don't push me. You know, it is what it is. Like I said, I got people that I'm responsible for, and they need me. And anything that gets in the way with that, you got to go. And it don't matter who it is. You got to go. Other than that, I'm super scary. You know, I'm running away from stuff. I don't want no confrontations. I don't want no. I ain't trying to fight nobody. I ain't doing none of that shit. You right. I be whatever. You got it. Walking away because it's not that serious. These are for enemies. That's what these are for. I'm getting sick talking about it. Absolutely. Are you? Are you? Damn. Yeah, it's been a minute for me, so I don't know. You know how fast food is. When you don't eat that stuff for a long time and you go back and try to eat it, what happens? Bubble guts. Straight bubble guts is not good. I ain't going to be able to do it. I want to talk about this Cincinnati Zoo thing. Fiona has a big sister. I want to talk about that, but I know many of y'all love the zoo, don't you? Love the zoo. Zoo's all right. If I never go to the zoo again, shit, I'll be happy about that. If I never go to another zoo again, I won't lose any sleep whatsoever. None. Not even a little bit. Because I got my feelings about it, but it is what it is. Good morning to you. You got me for the next few minutes, and I got to make a move. We've been on since a little bit after 8 o'clock. When we started the show, we talked with Donnie Isaacson. I thought it was interesting. Kind of picked his brain a bit about the state of Ohio, and I know Donnie, so I got a little bit of knowledge about his background, meaning that I'm aware of him. I know him previous to him coming on the show and running for state rep District 24, which he just won the primary. And you know, if you're looking at the numbers, he's got a safe bet of being the next state rep in the 24th district, just because of the way that the lines have been drawn. I'm glad there's a Republican candidate because, you know, we need to have that dialogue. I want to hear both ideas. I want to hear the clash of ideas. That's when we, the public, wins, when there's a clash of ideas and we can figure out what we agree with and what we don't agree with. So looking forward to those conversations. And again, the NAACP is gearing up. I just think very, very highly about the work that they do in terms of really all the work they do, but specifically I'm speaking about the live streams that they do, because it's just so convenient where you can just sit at home and you can plug in using this and you can watch the forums. And I think I will be moderating some and definitely be helping to virtually produce some of them as well. But when you see them come up, share it. Tap in with questions. You know, what I've noticed is a lot of people got questions until the candidate comes on. And then when the candidate comes on, all of a sudden they ain't got no more questions. You know, so start thinking now about what matters to you. And there are no dumb questions per se. Like if you got a well thought out, sincere question, it will be answered. It will be answered. And that's what it is. Morning to you. 513-873-7133. 833-873-9434 if you'd like to share your thoughts. And, you know, I remember, let me switch gears here because I want to talk about something that may or may not be on your radar screen. It may or may not be on your radar screen. And I suspect that we'll probably spend more time um, talking about this particular issue. Okay. But has anybody ever seen the Martin Luther King Jr. National Memorial? Anybody ever seen that before? I've seen some of my Facebook friends, and they've traveled, and um they've taken pictures with it and things like that. And I thought, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I know when they finally made that statue up there, that a lot of people traveled to go see. That's the image right there. See that? How many people have ever traveled to go see that? It was built between 2009 and 2011 in Washington, D.C., honoring the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And let me just say this. I have just grown so tired of the way that we misuse uh, the image of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And the number one way that we do that is we still don't even really, we're not even real with ourselves about who killed the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. We ain't even real with ourselves about that. You know, there's a lot of credible evidence out here that suggests that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was killed by medical professionals. He was sent to the hospital with his injuries from the assassination attempt, and that they finished him off in the hospital. The man that they say killed Martin Luther King, I believe didn't even kill Martin Luther King. So all this stuff about respect for King, we can't even get real about what actually happened to him. But there was a bit of a controversy surrounding this monument that you see right here. It looks beautiful though. Look at that. It looks great. Looks great. There was a bit of a controversy surrounding this statue because initially it was a black man. It was initially, we thought, who was commissioned to make this statue. And then he was replaced by a non-black artist. I believe the guy was Chinese who actually made this. Remember we talked about this? Way back. I mean, I wasn't doing digital stuff, but I was still on the air. And we spent a lot of time talking about this. And people were outraged on some level. And on some level, people were like, hey, we don't really care. But people were like, damn, ain't no black artists. There's no black sculptors that you can use or they're out there that can make the Martin Luther King statue. And I still feel that way, to be honest with you. Keisha writes, I've seen it. You saw it. Angela writes, not specifically to see it, but saw it while I was there. Right. Do y'all remember the controversy that surrounded that? And they had a Chinese artist who actually did this sculpture. Do you remember this? And then there was a black man who was initially commissioned to make the sculpture, and he made some miniature sculptures. And he did an interview with NPR in which he said, listen, they came to me and asked me to be the primary artist on this project. And what they told me was going to happen is they asked me to make some miniature sculptures. And then they wanted me to work with this Chinese artist, and he was going to take the miniature sculpture and make it into a bigger sculpture. But that's not what happened. He ended up getting replaced by the Chinese artist. Remember that? Dale writes, I remember the controversy over switching sculptures. Remember this? Now I'll say it again. I remember talking about this. And the first thing that came to my mind was, you telling me ain't no black folks that can make a sculpture? I mean, I ain't trying to be racist toward nobody else, but you got all these black artists out here. And you're doing a sculpture of Martin Luther King, and we can't get no black folks to do it. I thought it was the dumbest I've ever seen. It didn't make any sense. It didn't make any sense to me. It made no sense to me. Well, did you know, and maybe you don't know this, that there are plans to put a Martin Luther King sculpture here in Cincinnati? Did you know that? You may or may not know that. Some of you probably do. Some of you, I might be hipping you the game. there's a plan to put a Martin Luther King sculpture, I believe, in Avondale. Yeah. And unless something has changed, the last information I received is that the artists that are going to get, and they get a bag, we talking about 7 figures, close to 7 figures, to make this sculpture or this art piece of Martin Luther King and put it in Avondale. And would you believe that it will not be a black artist that does it? It won't even be a local artist that does it. You imagine that? And we got this whole black art movement. Everybody. That's why one of the questions I asked last week is, I guess black people ain't in style no more. For a minute there, we was in style. Seems like we fading out a little bit, unfortunately. So there are plans. And again, if I'm wrong on this, please set me straight. As I understand it, there are plans to put a Martin Luther King statue over in Avondale. But it won't be done by local artists, and it won't be done by black artists. And I just don't understand that. That don't make any damn sense to me whatsoever. And I'm not saying like every time a black, icon is going to be immortalized in a statue that it has to be black artists to do it. But be honest with you, in the spirit of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, I think that it makes a lot of sense if it is. Makes a lot of sense. I actually got a chance to see some of the plans of a local group that put in a proposal, and wow, I was blown away. I mean, the proposed design from a local group of artists that I saw was absolutely amazing. It was, I started looking at it like, damn, this is nice. It was super nice. Like I could see that in Avondale, and the local group that put in a proposal, they even added an option, a way for the people of Avondale, for the people that live in this city, to put their input into it. But somehow their proposal wasn't taken. They didn't win the bid, I guess. Just great. I don't know if I'm at liberty to show it to you. I'll reach out and see if I can show it to you. Maybe I'll show it to you tomorrow. But wait till you see this shit. This shit look dope. And your boy keeps it 100 with you. It looks dope. In fact, it's way better than this. It's better than this. Now that's impressive. People had an issue with Martin Luther King's eyes in this. They said he had like Asian eyes or something like this. And maybe that's because there was a Chinese sculpture and he want to put a little bit of his culture on Martin Luther King, and he's for everybody and all that kind of stuff. I still think it was I'm just sorry. Like if I'm in charge of it, and we talk about the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, and we know that before he died, he was fighting for equity for non-white folks, right? Poor people. I just don't understand it. And maybe you hear more about this, and maybe you're hearing about it for the first time. This is the first time I'm bringing it up. I'll bring this up maybe more tomorrow and throughout the week. You know what I'm saying? But you got to see the plans. I put the plans side by side. And I just don't understand how, if you are Cincinnati based and you're going to put up a Martin Luther King sculpture, and and by the way, who asked for a Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King sculpture anyway? Well, was the community asking Avondale about this? Like who makes these decisions? You know what I'm saying? I'm fond of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, but there's a whole lot of revolutionaries and icons out there. He ain't the only one. And there might be some revolutionaries and icons that for Avondale could be a better fit. I don't know. But at least the community should have some input. I'm not so sure they did, actually. Wait till you see it, man. It's super dope. I'm not sure if I'm at liberty to show it to you, but when I get to if and when I get to AOK, David writes, "Let me help, Nate. They selected Recite Studio." Okay. David's hip to the game, so there are people out there that know about it. It's actually already been reported in the media, but it's not the kind of media and the kind of thing that everybody pays attention to. All I'm saying is this. Why can't black artists create timeless artwork, iconic artwork of black revolutionaries? I don't get that. I don't understand it. And the other part I don't understand, I'm just hitting this for the first time. I'm gonna get deeper into it in the days to follow. But then also, why can't we have local groups work on this kind of stuff and keep that money at home? I don't get it. So the group that's doing the new Martin Luther King sculpture in Avondale is not a black artist and is not local. And they about to get 7 figures to do this. It makes no sense to me whatsoever. I think the people that's involved should be asked about it. And I plan to do just that. Everybody talking about equity, equity, equity. Well, okay, we need equity in terms of who's getting the big paychecks to make these sculptures. But again, I know for some of you might be hearing this for the first time. I'll talk more about it when I'm at liberty to do so. But for now, I just want to put that on your radar screen. Just remember that image, because I'm going to show you what the proposal was. And in my opinion, it's way better than that. That's just my opinion. You know, everybody looks at things subjectively. That's just my opinion. But I want to hit you the game just a little bit. Good morning to you. Terrace writes, MLK is a safe icon for white America. Yes, it is. Yes, he is. David writes, 9 blacks outside the market. Right. I don't get it. Man, everybody talking about equity, equity, equity. And then you got $1 million contract and it's going to people outside of Cincinnati and they're non-black to make a statue about Martin Luther King? It don't make sense. Now, I haven't seen the winning proposal. And that's what I'm looking for, because maybe their proposal was just so stunning, it was irresistible or whatever. I don't know. But we'll find out. And when I do, I'll let you know. Good morning to you. Ray writes, other ethnicities crafting our image. Right. You know, talk about controlling the narrative. If anybody's going to do a Martin Luther King statue in Avondale, it should be black folks. Why? Because we're talking about Martin Luther King. That's just me. Now, I'm biased. I know it. I could be wrong or whatever. I'm okay with that. That's just how I feel about it. That's just it. That's it. That's all. And with that, my friends, I got to make a move. Now, before we do, I want to get another word in from our sponsor. Today's show is brought to you by our good friends over at Renew Community Church. They offer a Sunday morning live stream. You can tap in on Sunday mornings at Renew Community Church live stream on YouTube. And on Facebook, tap in at facebook.com/Cincy Renew, CINCI Renew. 95% of stress and trauma is linked to health and relationship decline. Learn how to take back your life from stress and live again. All right, my friends, have an excellent rest of your day. Again, I gave you some updates about what's going to be happening with the show. So there's definitely going to be some changes. The Nathan Ivey Show is coming to an end very, very shortly. But I won't get all into it because I don't have a lot of time here. I'm going to make a quick move, but just circle back around and hit the play button, and you'll see as we start the show, you can hear the whole explanation. All right. Have an excellent rest of your day, my friends. Remember, winners focus on winning and losers focus on winners. So stay focused and stay winning, and we'll talk real soon. Until next time, I'm out.
Yeah, talking to my mirror like I love you so much. Curving on my critics like I heard you, so what? You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. Tally all the I ever gave on my head. Lately I've been living like I can't take a loss. They ain't wanna help me, that's what made me a boss. You can't kill my confidence, I think I'm the man. We don't give a that's what they don't understand.
Back again like flu season, I broke